Alpha didn't feel right leaving Kagano behind. Every fiber of her being was telling her to stay back, to fight alongside her master. Despite the orders that had been given, despite knowing the game plan. It was hard to do as you were commanded. Your mind telling you one thing, but your heart would often tell you another. For all the members of Shadow Garden, that was how they felt for Kagano. Sure, he could be a bit eccentric at times. In fact, many of his personality traits the world would find appalling, repulsive, or just downright annoying. But there was something about him being unapologetically him. The way he lived his life. The way that he carried about his missions. It was something to be truly admired. Many of his qualities that he never thought about were the kind of qualities that had drawn them to Shadow Garden in the first place. For one thing, there was never a situation or a problem that Kagano never tried to tackle. Whereas most people would look at a situation that seemed impossible to overcome, Kagano always looked at everything as an obstacle to eventually be conquered. There was never any doubt of whether or not he could achieve something. It was simply a matter of him figuring out the ways best to achieve what he wanted. Because of that, among other things, Shadow Garden had an undying loyalty to Kagano. But Kagano had always made it very clear. Their loyalty was not to simply die in vain, to give of their lives, to die for a cause, no. Kagano had given them many missions, some that you might even think were impossible. But if there was one thing he would never say to them, is that you are to die for the mission. No. Kagano would never allow any of his subordinates to die for the cause. If any life were to be given, there would only be one. And that life would be his and his alone. Because of that, Shadow Garden were able to achieve many things. And now, in the belly of the beast, running for their lives, Rose, Alpha, Delta, and Epsilon, along with the aid of other Shadow Garden affiliates, fending off against the 12 Knights of Round, Iris Midgar, assisted with her fellow 12 Knights, Wonder Girl, Hawk, Dove, the Guardian, Aqualad, Supergirl, the Yellow Lantern, Jessica, Helena Wayne, the Huntress, Terra, Beast Boy, Red Tornado, along with a few members of the Crimson Knight Elite Squad, along with the warrior swordswoman, Beatrice the Elf, and Alexia Midgar. They all gave chase to Rose, though many for various reasons. For the 12 Knights around, they had been ordered to bring in the killer of the King of Orania. But for Alexia, she just wanted to know the truth. What was going on with Rose? Why had she killed her father? And even more so, what was the meaning of all this? Why had she aligned herself with Shadow Garden of all things? There was so much that didn't make any sense. Of course, for Alpha and the members of Shadow Garden, getting away was the top priority, but that would be easier said than done. Among having powerful warriors and heroes chasing after them, they had to deal with those keen at tracking, looking to escape the sight of their pursuers. Sure, if Shadow Garden had to go into an all-out fight against the 12 Knights of Round, perhaps they could win. But that was a 50-50. And that wasn't the orders they had received. Kagano instructed them to retreat and get back to base, to avoid capture by any means necessary. As for himself, He was alone. Each member of Shadow Garden thought about Kageno, thinking more and more about if this were the right decision. However, their thoughts would be preoccupied as Iris had caught up to them. Drawing her sword, she engaged with Rose in the middle of the streets. By order of the 12 Knights of Round, Rose of Arenia, you are to surrender yourself to our custody. I'm afraid she cannot do that. Alpha would kick away at Iris as she drew her blade. Shadow Garden, Cult of Diablos. Enemies all the same. If that's truly what you believe, then you are indeed blind to the truth. What truth? You keep spouting on about truth, about secrets and shadows, yet you are the ones that hide within them. You cannot hide any longer. We know what you truly are. You are nothing more but agents of chaos, seeking to sow the seeds of mistrust. You claim to be fighting a noble cause, but truly you fight for no cause greater than yourself. Because let me ask, if you are so virtuous, if you are so pure and high and mighty as you appear to be, then why not surrender yourself to the authority of, and under whose authority should we surrender ourselves? Midgar? The League? I'm sorry, Your Highness, but you must truly think too highly of yourself if you think that anyone should surrender themselves to you. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. Shadow Garden is subjugated to no one. We are led by one, Deathstroke the Shadow. Yes, your fool of a leader, who is currently facing Midgard justice. He will not survive. Like Icarus, you have flown too close to the sun, and now you will pay the price, starting with your leader. Alpha would be angered as she engaged with Iris in battle. You truly doubt Lord Deathstroke, and that will cost you dearly. Today, Midgard will be given a special kind of dish, a dish of humility. May you eat it gracefully and accept its consequences. The other members of the 12 Knights of Round would engage with the members of Shadow Garden. Aqualad, the squire and chosen sidekick of the Sea King, King Arthur. Though young and brash, his skills in water magic were truly refined. Both Hawk and Dove, respective members of royal family who had made a special pact with the ancient beast, the Flaming Hawk of the Hawk family, and the Ice Dove of the Dove clan. The Red Tornado, fully cybernetic in its creation, with a core of magical element that gave it the great power of controlling the winds. There was Beast Boy, a child who some believed were cursed, but had turned that curse into a blessing. The ability to transform into any beast or creature of his desire. Terra, a young protege, master of the earthen magic, able to bend all of the earth to its will. Wonder Girl, the student of Diana, the Wonder Woman, a proud young warrior from the province of Themyscira. The Guardian, and senior of the team, trusted ally to Superman. His power came in his form of defensive magic and the powerful barriers that he could construct, along with wielding an enchanted shield that allowed him to withstand even the mightiest of forces. Supergirl, the daughter of Superman, the combination of human spirit and the strength of her long-lost world of Krypton. Jessica Cruz, a young elite of the Yellow Lantern Corps of the province of Oa, with the power to draw upon the fear of her enemies and to instill that fear through an unyielding and relenting willpower. Helena Wayne, master of multiple martial arts, of espionage, and of cunning, while descendant of a betrayer, a young protege wishing to wipe the sins of the family that she hailed from, to carve out her own legacy, not as the hunted, but as the huntress, a dark knight in the making, whose magical power only imbued and strengthened her natural gifts. These were the 12 Knights of Round, who served Midgar and served under the Justice League. 12 uniquely powered individuals with the strength comparable to almost the League itself. Their force, colliding against that of Shadow Garden, made for an epic display of power and strength, skill in both the sciences and the magic. In the meantime, Kagano found himself surrounded by the League. He had always imagined this day would come. He had played this scenario over in his head time and time again, but he never thought that the rush, the adrenaline, that it could feel this great. A healthy dose of fear does a man good. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps your senses high. And now he found himself surrounded. I just want to know, Wonder Woman would ask, why do you wish to quarrel with the League? Have you been slighted in any way? Slighted? That would be the understatement of the century. Then what exactly do you want? Hal Jordan said, his yellow lantern ring raised and ready to strike. You all think of yourselves as heroes. But, let's be honest, we all know the truth. Your tyranny against this world, it has been great. So much has been lost because of you all. You might be able to hide from the world what you truly are, but I know deep down you are all selfish and vain individuals. I know that deep down in your heart of hearts, you think of yourselves as gods among men, looking down on us lowly, pathetic humans. And you know, I could forgive all of that. Personally, up until around 15 years ago, I truly did not care. But then you made me care, and you really pissed me off. Heroes, villains, antagonist, protagonist, whatever you want to call yourselves, it truly does not matter to me. In the end, there is right and there is wrong. And where there is evil, I am there to correct. You see, I do not claim to be a hero like all of you. False prophets, one and the same. Then what exactly are you? Superman would ask. I am nothing more but a shadow. A shadow indiscriminate. that only judges by the actions of others. And your actions, all of you, it warrants only one thing: death. Having heard enough of this, Wonder Woman would go charging in with her sword, ready to strike him down, only for him to disappear, reappearing behind her as he went for a roundhouse kick to her left side, as she raised her shielded arm to block. Hal would come in using a yellow construct, looking to create chains to bind and hold him in place, while the Sea King would use his trident, pulling as much moisture of water from the air, preparing to use a great tsunami splash of magic, looking to drown him where he stood. Kagano would move out of the way of all three of them, Eobard going in for a blinding speed punch, only for his fist to be caught. And then there's you. I like you the least. Kagano would punch Eobard in the face instead. Grid would be analyzing Kagano's movements before coming up with the best strategic scenario to bring him down. Transforming both his arms into cannon arms, he would launch double sonic boom attacks at Kagano. Kagano managing to evade them all as he started to engage with the League. 5 of the 7 members to be specific. Owlman continuing to observe, and Superman doing the same. Owlman would eventually go in for his strikes, and for Kagano, even though he wasn't anything like his brother, he wasn't bad, not at all, definitely capable. But he knew what this was all really about. The 6 of them were going to try to keep him preoccupied. They were going to try to do everything in their power to keep him distracted. In about half a second, Superman was gone. And he'll be here right about now. In an instant, Superman, using nothing but his forearm in the speeding lariat, had taken off Kagano's head. His head quickly rolling onto the ground in front of them. Of course, for Superman, this felt like it was far too easy. Because it was. The head and the body all transformed into slime, as Kagano was waiting for them on the outside, as the rain fell all across the capital. "Impressive, kid," Superman would say. "You were able to evade my speeding lariat, replaced yourself with a slime clone. Perfect tactic myself. I used castling magic to trade my place with someone else." "Castling magic? Castling magic?" Wonder Woman would ask, rather perplexed. "It's just fancy talk for switching his places around with someone else," Owlman said. "It's a crafty little trick, although it definitely takes up a lot of magic to use. I doubt he can spam it. You're not bad, kid, although you're not particularly good at hiding your hand. You're nothing more but a cheap magician with a bunch of parlor tricks. Sure, you're crafty, and you're a little lucky. But what happens when you get unlucky? You think I have to beat you with luck?" Kagano would say. "Well, for one, it's beginning to rain. And take a wild guess who's a master at water magic." King Arthur the Sea King would spin his trident around in the air, collecting all of the rain that fell all around them, before a giant vortex of water formed behind him. "And all of this chaos that you've ensued," Owlman said, "you're only building up the fear of the people. And good thing we have someone that's powered by fear Now, isn't it? And you'd be wise not to piss off Diana. She's the warrior of Themyscira for a reason. Grid, he's been analyzing your magic, your fighting skills, your prowess, everything. Countermeasures are being built as we speak. Eobard, he's the fastest man alive. There's no way you're going to evade him forever. And let's assume you do all of that. You still have to get past me. And my good friend here, Superman. What Owlman has elegantly put out to you, Superman would say, is that you're far out of your depth with this. It's obvious you're skilled. Definitely. Your prowess with magic isn't something to be underestimated, nor is your skill with the blade, and whatever other tricks you've got up your sleeve. But that's all they are. They're tricks. I've gone up against people a lot stronger, a lot faster, a lot mightier than you, and I've beaten them all. What makes you think that you'll be any different? And don't say, because you're not like everyone else. You're exactly like everyone else. You think that you've been analyzing us, don't you? You think you understand everything about this world? Well, allow me to enlighten you. This world is filled with things far beyond your comprehension. But I'm pretty sure that you already know this. You don't like our methods. Fine. Not everyone has to agree. But what do you think causing all of this chaos is going to do? Do you think the people are going to like you any better? And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you're right. That we truly are the worst of the worst. That we're hypocrites. Let me ask, who do you think the people will trust more? The hypocrites that have kept them safe? The hypocrites that keep the crime down low, that keep their plates full and their houses secure? To them, it doesn't matter. Call us heroes, tyrants, whatever you want. We have their loyalty. And all you have are the fools that believe that you're making some type of difference. No, you don't claim to be a hero because you're not. You're just someone with a petty grudge. That's what it is. I don't know who you are under that mask. Maybe someone we've wronged. Someone that we've crossed in the past. And for that, let me be the first to say, from the bottom of my heart, I truly do not give one flying fuck. I don't care about you. I don't care about what family we probably killed of yours. Not like it matters anyway. The big blue Boy Scout finally showing his true colors, huh? I ditched the blue a long time ago. And I'm nobody's Boy Scout. I've had to do a lot of things I thought I'd never do. I even killed my best friend. And it doesn't bother you at all, does it? Not one bit. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page, right? Since we're not holding back, since we're not fighting with the kid gloves. If you want to talk about something, let's talk about Laura. I know what you're trying to do. Everyone knows who my daughter is, and trust and believe, with the power you've displayed now, I have no doubt that she could kick your ass. Yeah, you'd like to think that, wouldn't you? Now, my question is, could you still say those words if I lopped her head off and I sent it to you for Christmas? Superman would attempt to speed blitz him once again, only for Kagano to reappear far behind them. What's the matter? Did I strike a nerve? I mean, I'm just a man, right? You should have no problem killing me. Superman would attempt to speed blitz him again. The others were now getting involved as well, as one by one they all tried to take their cracks at him. Arthur. You're supposed to be an upright family man. Don't you have a wife and child at home? And yet, here you are playing secret house with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman of all people. How does he... And I mean, no offense, but Wonder Woman, you go on and on about women and the matriarchy and all this stuff, and yet, time and time again, you're always up under a man. You don't need them, well, except when you need to get, woohoo. But, then again, what else can I expect from a cheaply made 304 who loves to ride the carousel? You insolent bastard! And then there's Hal. Sweet, sweet Hal. How does it feel to betray everything that you once stood for? You probably can't even look yourself in the mirror. And all those pills you take, they really don't change what you've done. How's John, by the way? Shut up! Where is he? Where is he? With all that emotion, you might need to switch colors. Maybe red? No. Tell you what, do they have a color for bitch on the emotional spectrum? I'm sure that'll suit you just fine. Then there's Grid. I mean, what else can I say about you? Victor, right? Yeah, you used to be a man until your father fucked up and turned you into a slave. That's pathetic. I will not be swayed by petty emotion. I don't have any plans on getting to you. You died a long time ago anyway. And then there's Eobard. Eobard. How does it feel to finally be the fastest man alive and know that that is complete and utter bullcrap? Eobard would attempt to blitz him over and over again, each time not even getting close. But he did feel something in his knees, getting smashed in by a crowbar. Ah! You! The crowbar! How is it? How's what? How is it that you got caught off guard by a crowbar 2 times? Kagano leaned in just so he could whisper into his ear, making sure to use dampening magic so that the big guy couldn't hear what they were saying. You really, really messed up. You remember that speedster you killed, right? Wally? What about him? You remember that other kid you killed? The one that you snapped his legs and arms, turned them inside out, held him on the middle of the road, held up his face so that he could watch a semi-truck smash and cave in his skull? Yeah, I bet you do. It's been a while, hasn't it? You took the... Now, I don't think I have to tell you, but if Big Guy finds out what happened, that all this is because of you, safe to say he's going to tear you a new one. And I'm half tempted to let it leak out because personally, I think that would absolutely be funny as hell. But I'll leave you to it. After all, you gotta keep getting fast, don't you? Maybe you can be the third fastest, fourth, fifth, if you try really hard. And then finally, Owlman. You attempting to blackmail me? Oh, I don't have to do that, Thomas. You're a paragon, aren't you? And besides, you already know that I know, don't you? So, I know that you don't really seem to care very much. But I have uses for you. So, I'll be getting in touch with you real soon. In the midst of Kagano's arrogance, he didn't see this coming. Superman charging towards him. He held up his left arm to block his punch, and his left arm, all the way to the shoulder, flew clean off his body. Superman grabbing him by the face and lifting him into the air before hurling him down like a rocket, smashing into the ground below into a crater as multiple yellow-like shackles began to hold him in place. Wonder Woman charging from the skies above, drilling down her sword right into his chest. Grid, along with his other robotic other body host, an army of Grids, all of them with their sonic cannon arms surrounding him in the entire crater as they shot out at full power their concussive sonic blast, while King Arthur unleashed the Sea Vortex attack, crashing down upon him. And just for a little more insult to injury, Eobard charged up a lightning strike as he raced around the crater before throwing a discharge of lightning into the watery vortex attack, adding just a more spice to the damage. Owlman, he contributed nothing, except this entire plan. Like I told you, you think you were studying us, but we were studying you. You're a lot of things, Deathstroke. And a dumbass son of a bitch, that's on the top of the list. A fool all in the same. But in the end, doesn't matter how much you struggle or how much you try, because nothing really matters. The Justice League all stood together, watching, hearing the delightful screams of their would-be attacker as they were silenced. He had potential, Wonder Woman said. Potential my ass, Dawn said, rubbing his knee. But it was just then that a barrier formed around them all, around the Capitol. They all turned to look high into the sky, and they couldn't believe it. I gotta hand it to you. That teamwork sure is something else. Truly worthy of the title Justice League. How is he not dead? Superman asked. How am I not dead? What? You think that pathetic display of power was enough to beat me? Me of all people? Who in the hell do you think you're fighting? I'm not some run-of-the-mill background character. I'm not some one-off. I'm not someone that you can just ignore, damn it. Let me make this perfectly clear to every single one of you. I am your karma. All of the wrongs that you have committed. I am the embodiment of your sins. You think you can beat me? No. You're not on my level. You're not even on the level below me. I am your punishment. I am the shadow of justice. All of your evils will be exposed to the light. And I alone will stand above you. Your lives are forfeit. They are in my hands. And I can take them whenever I wish. Because I am atomic. Kagano's body would begin to erupt into a bright light. Superman immediately rushed up to him. The fear, the PTSD, all interwoven into his mind. He remembered it. This was just like that day. The day that Metropolis was destroyed. It all started with a bright light in the sky before the entire city was vaporized. And this bastard knew it. He was going to do the same. The moment Superman got close to him, the two of them were face to face. A conversation in what could only be in the span of a few seconds that seemed eternal. We will find out who you are under that mask. There won't be anywhere for you to run. I'm not running. And if I am, I'm coming straight for you, big guy. The force of the explosion would send them flying in the opposite direction. But there was no incinerating of the capital, no destruction, nothing of the kind. He blew away every storm cloud until there was nothing but a bright blue sky above them, the shimmering light of day. All of this for a display of power, Wonder Woman said, and this was the best he could do, turning the weather from dreary to sunny. No, Owlman said. He was trying to send a message. And what message is that? That the darkness will be exposed by the light. Superman just stood in the air, his fist clenched. If the Deathstroke wanted the attention of the Justice League, oh, he got it now. The Bushin Festival would be canceled shortly after. Shadow Garden had vanished along with Rose. They were now considered top criminal number ones, public enemies. The League were going to be looking into Shadow Garden extensively. Whoever they were, however they operated, wherever they were hiding in this world, they would find them by any means necessary. As for Rose, she was escorted by Alpha far into the countryside, far off from the beaten path, through corridors, various stops along the way, traversing through hazardous mountain ranges, and eventually to the base of Shadow Garden. Rose would be left in the care of one of their trainees as she was stripped away of her past life and identity, given a new title, a number designation, 666. For Rose, she knew that there was no going back. But there was a silver lining. After being initiated, after weeks of harsh and intense training, as her day's work came to an end, she was called into the head office. And there she met him, sitting on his throne in isolation, the Deathstroke. She bowed on one knee as she looked to him. I take it that you've gotten yourself well acclimated to things. I have, Lord Deathstroke. I can only say thank you. Thank you for this. There's no need to thank me. Everything that you have achieved, you've done so through your own esteem. I wanted to make things very clear for you, Rose. Shadow Garden isn't what you think it is. If you think that we are heartless monsters with no soul, then this is not the place for you. To be a part of Shadow Garden, you must have a soul. It's required. Because that is the only way you can see this mission through till the end. From my subordinates, I only ask one thing: that you live for me, just as I will live for you. I do not expect you to throw away your life in vain, to die for the sake of the mission, because death is the end. When you die, everything is over. Everything that you could hope to achieve, the heights that you can climb, all of that goes when you die. Do you understand that, Rose? Do you understand that when you die, all of your dreams, your ambitions, your hopes, they go along with them, as well as your service to me? I do not value death, because in the end, death is permanent. I value the living, those who can keep living for me. That is what I value most. You take this vow, you will live for me. No matter how dire the situation, you will live. You will find a way to live. I don't care if your situation is 0%. You will turn that 0% into 1 if need be. Because no life will be lost in my crusade. The only death, should it be needed, will be mine and mine alone. My crusade started with me, and if it ends with me. If you can keep this vow, you have the support of Shadow Garden. You have my support. Thank you. I am truly grateful for everything you have done. I only wish I could have said goodbye to him. No need. Kagano removed his mask, revealing his true self. Rose was left stunned. It was... Even through her tears, she couldn't help but smile. I promise you, Rose, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. Meanwhile, in the Gotham Providence, in the Wayne Manor home, Thomas Wayne Jr. looks out of his window into the night sky. A sky that would have once been lit with the symbol of his brother, now dormant. Nothing but a dull black. Not even the stars shine through. Just the dreariness of the clouds that hang over the once great city. You know, for the fastest man alive, you sure do take a hell of a time getting to places you need to get to. Oh, shut it, owl boy. What? You waiting to go out and fight some crime? Please. You're nothing like your brother. You're right. I'm nothing like my brother. Because only an idiot would go out at night and fight a meaningless war. I have better things to do with my time. Yeah, cut the crap. Do you have my stuff or not? Owlman slid Flash, or Reverse Flash, a briefcase. There's your monthly dosage. The case was quickly opened as a syringe with a red viscous liquid glowing inside. A long syringe needle shoved into his arm, pushed in as his eyes began to glow with the spark. You shouldn't be so stingy. Yeah, I got better things to do than entertain a junkie. A junkie? Whatever. I'm not gonna let your words get to me. Like you let everything else get to you? You know, if you got a problem, we have a problem. What? That Deathstroke guy? He's nothing to worry about. Even if his reading was a category 8, it's nothing that we can't. It's not about the reading. It's about what he knows. He knows about what I did. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, he knows? He knows everything? I don't know how much, but I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know what my brother would have told him during the goddess trial. And I just, for peak's sake! Ugh. If they find out, we're screwed. That's just the thing. I don't think he plans on telling the League. Besides, I have a few secrets myself. Secrets? It's nothing you need to worry about, and I think I do. If he finds out what we did to him, what we did to Barry, what you did to Barry, I am nothing more but a supplier. All you did was provide me the guinea pig to get your little speed boost. Or should the League learn that you've lost your connection completely to the Speed Force, and you have to rely on another speedster, their friend believed to have died in a war sacrificing himself, I don't think they'll take too kindly to that. Don't act like you can blackmail me, Wayne. I have just as much dirt on you as you have on me. If I go down, you go down. It's not that simple. I'm not the only one with dirt. And I'm not the only one that's trying to make moves. What? You talking about Arthur and Diana? Oh, most definitely. I've had my own investigations into both of their camps. They plan on forming an alliance. You think they can take down Big Bad? No, I doubt it. But it'll definitely be a spectacle, to say the least. And with Atlantis and Themyscira taken out of the equation, that's more territory for us to divvy up. And what about the yellow one? Hal? He's nothing but a psychotic mess who can't live with what he's done. Schizophrenic more than anything else. All he needs is a shoulder to cry on and an arm to place around his. And then we can wring his neck out. But I have people in the Yellow Lantern camp to take care of that. Once everything's in place, then we can make our move. You know, we'll only get one chance at this. One chance is all we need. Besides, in the grand scheme of things, nothing really matters. This concludes The Eminence in Shadow, No More Heroes. What If Sid Kagano Was Deathstroke? Season 1, Part 10, the Season 1 finale. Like I always say, when we get to a season finale or we come to a wrap-up of a story, I always want to take the time to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has been very supportive of this series. It was something that really came together at the last moment. I didn't really know how it was going to turn out when I first pitched the idea, when I first came up with the concept. But you guys have really taken to it. You've really enjoyed it. And there's so much more I want to do with this series. I didn't really get to go into depth with a lot of the characters like I had hoped to, especially with Laura, with the girls specifically, with Laura, Jessica, Helena. I didn't really get to go into depth with them like I wanted to, but I wanted to establish them because they will play a pivotal role in the future. Not so much for season 1, but in the future installments of this series, they will be playing a much bigger role, so I can't wait to kind of get them into the fold as well. You kind of got a lot of different storylines with this one. You've got the Injustice element, you've got the Justice Lords element, you've got the kind of bizarro world feel, if you will, where the heroes are more in the villainous role, and you've had a villain, typically a villain in the Deathstroke character, serving as the main hero in Sid Kagano. And kind of based on his personality, they kind of match up well because in the grand scheme of things, Kagano isn't much of a hero. He's just someone that does the right thing regardless of who he has to go after or what laws he has to break. So you could say this is more of an anti-hero role than anything else. Also, another inspiration for this series was definitely The Boys. If you're familiar with The Boys, I know a lot of people have been asking me to do something based on The Boys. I took a lot of inspiration with The Boys series into this one. I don't know if those elements really shine through the best, but if you're kind of wondering, that's kind of where I've taken the direction, at least with Shadow Garden kind of being like The Boys, if you will, going up against the regime or the evil Justice League. They kind of act like Homelander and the Seven. So that's kind of the idea I want to go with this series. Definitely have a lot more in store. Can't wait to get more deeply involved when we continue on with this series. But for now, I want to say thank you for all of your support. Like I always say, can't do it without you. You make the channel grow. You make the core grow. Also, stay tuned tonight around 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing the Season 2 finale for Naruto, King of the Beast. What If Naruto Was Swamp Thing? Season 2, Part 8, the Season 2 finale. That will be later on tonight. But anyway, thank you all. Thank you for enjoying today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is Power Core Productions and Podcastings. That's to come out now and in the future. And stay tuned next week as we start more brand new stories in the world of anime DC Comics in Chapter 2 of Journey into the Infinite Earths. But that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with Power Core Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.